All right, so I just got off the stream right now, but this was mentioned to me on stream is that some guy used my video reaction and another YouTuber's reaction for a Fist of the North Star feat, uh, which I'm going to talk about. So this is the currently on Versus Battle Wiki. This is the Fist of the North Star CRT. It's been going on for a while now. I think like 2 or 3 months now. I could be wrong on that. But at any rate, so the CRT's been up for a while, and recently, because of Legends Revive, the mobile game, adding new information, it's kind of picked up steam. What I want to talk about a little bit though is there seems to be a debate going on between the two main guys on the actual like thread. Silver Vigilant, who I think actually made the thread to start with, I could be wrong on that one, and Toilist has also been a big part of the thread as well for the most part. These two guys have been like for the most part great. I wasn't gonna say anything about this thread. I was just like kind of watching it. What ended up happening though is I kind of got I low key kind of got called out a little bit, not directly per se. I don't think that was the intention, but you know, since I kind of got thrown into the ring, I might as well look at it. What is this? The Avatar Folk to Chicken to Zoom.
And because you're thrown into the ring, you grabbed your friend Kyle.
Oh. Okay, so this is kind of weird. They're let me see this here. Close this. The incarnation of Photosync. Okay, so the Fly Cloud Dragon flies to a nearby star. Oh, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that actually does happen. Although, I'm not really quite sure who they would argue scales to that. Yeah. What?
I know who.
Well, no. So, have you read Blue Sky or no?
Me too. I know who scales.
Kyle, I'm asking you if you read a Blue Sky.
No, not yet, but I still know who scales.
Okay, so have you ever seen the dragon in the Successor Ritual?
No.
Okay, so basically basically a physical manifestation of Hokuto Shinken appears. And it flies off to a star, which, according to Versus Battle Wiki, is calced at bare minimum 10,000 times faster than light, or 600,000 times faster than light.
Which is funny, because that's still slower
Than the 100 quintillion punch. Oh, feels good. So, that should be completely accepted if you assume it actually went to the star itself, because it might have just like disappeared back to the star, to be fair. I mean, I scale him to the 100 quintillion punch, make no mistake. I'll scale him to it, no diff, but just saying.
Zim, quick, get the G1 people, show them why Raoul is at least 10,000.
Here you go. Well, okay, so this is where it's gonna get really weird, because so the two guys we're looking at debate whether or not other characters scale to the Kenshiros. And so that's what I want to talk about. I think for Galaxy, we'll need to create a new CRT scaling because God knows the Kasumi Ken scale is going to be a headache. So, just to be clear, if you actually read Fist of the North Star 100%, there's at least... So, Han... Well, most of the Hokuto Ryukin brothers should scale to Kenshiro regardless, but the main guys who should scale are Rao, Toki, although Toki's disease kind of makes him a little more iffy, Kenshiro...
Oh, shit. Iffy or healthy, he'd still win.
So, this is the problem, is that technically anyone who puts up a good fight against Kenshiro scales above Kasumi Kenshiro, because there are statements that they're the strongest North Star successors, and then you also have a statement from Rao saying he's the strongest man in the history of the North Star. Now, to be fair, they do talk about this, but I'll talk about his rebuttals, because I've seen some of them, and they're not very good, and he also leaves out context for some of his actual, like, rebuttals as well, which we'll talk about. So I found this. Apparently, it's a couple of Japanese H&K fans discussing who's the strongest successor in Hokuto Shinken's history. In my understanding, the guy who has the best answer said that according to the Fist of the North Star, Fist of the Blue Sky guidebook, page 48, Kenshiro is indeed stated to be the strongest. Kenshiro, the strongest man in Hokuto history. I climbed up to become the strongest man in Hokuto. Yeah, okay, so he has an official statement that Kenshiro is the strongest man in Hokuto Shinken from the official guidebook. Okay. And Boris and Nahara wrote it. Oh, I know what this is. Yeah, alright, I know what this is. There's also that statement about Rao surpassing Hokuto's power itself. This comes directly from the mobile game, yes. Oh, he doesn't have Rao. That's a shame. Yeah, no, right here. Upon realizing Kenshiro was the key to the heavens for which he had yearned for so long, Rao's power grew greater than that of Hokuto Shinken. He challenged his younger brother to what would become their final showdown. See, this isn't a problem, because if you've actually read Fist of the North Star, Kenshiro himself admits that Rao was stronger than him, and that Rao let him win. That's not an anime-only thing.
This is also the problem, because in the next saga, which is the Island of Ashura, Rao is not only the benchmark, but he's stated several times by an end-of-series Kenshiro to be still stronger.
Yeah, like, we'll show that scan if you guys, just to be clear here, because he will mention it. Kasumi has pound-for-pound better feats when it comes to dealing with abilities. Better statements. He stated to have achieved the fullest form of Hokuto. Ken has no such statement. Same goes for the initiation ritual. It might be that Ken's ritual was retconned into being the same as Kasumi, but from what we know, Kasumi was on a whole other level. That's actually complete bullshit. See, here's the problem. The actual successor for Hokuto Ryukin, who fought Kasumi Kenshiro, did not use the Demon Aura. At all. In fact, the second the Demon Aura starts to pop up, Kasumi's like, fuck that noise. Fucking Fist of the Blue, I think it's like Blue Dragon Sky Fist, but fucking Sunray Tenha, that shit. So no, make no mistake. If Kasumi stepped up to Kaio, Kaio would fucking murder him. Because the Demon Aura would fucking ruin him. And scaling that puts him at least on the levels of post-Muso Tensei Ken? No. What the fuck? Since we have proof from Prime Ryukin himself that Kasumi was stronger than him, yeah, but Ryukin's weaker than Rao before, even in the Ray Town arc. Kenshiro even says, if you were the old Rao, I would have killed you. Dude, Ryukin's statement where, you know what? Actually, no, why am I even bothering? I can actually show you guys the exact statement. Hang on, why the fuck am I even bothering with this shit? It's literally the first chapter of fucking Soto no Ken. To understand how stupid that statement is to argue for it scaling to Rao or Kenshiro, here's where a statement comes from. It comes from chapter 1, unless it's a little later on. Let me see here. It should be chapter 1. Yeah, right here. He's gonna say it right now. So this is Ryukin. This is literally Kenshiro as a fucking baby. And then he says that Kenshiro bears the same mark as the most powerful man of Hokuto Shinken. And then he says, I'll name you Kenshiro, and then one day I'll tell you the story of my brother whose spirit was like the blue sky. So as a baby, he states that Kasumi Kenshiro is the strongest man in Hokuto Shinken. Rao hasn't been trained yet. Toki hasn't been trained yet. And Toki literally has a statement for having like the greatest technique.
Here's the problem is that, like, sadly enough, because this is also like part of like the story of the brothers fighting. Even Jaggy, there are 4 successors who were born at the same time. 4 masters that if they were born in different eras, they would have inherited the fist.
Yes.
Which means that for as much as I don't like it, and neither has anybody who comes to this realization, Jaggy should be able to be like Kasumi Kenshiro.
So now in fairness, while Jaggy should scale there, you could make the argument since Kasumi Kenshiro scales above a prime Ryukin, because again Ryukin in his prime is saying his brother was stronger, you could argue that Kasumi Kenshiro does scale above some of the lower tiers in the verse, but we'll talk about that. And scaling puts him at least on level of post-Muso Tensei Ken, since we have proof from Prime Ryukin himself that Kasumi was stronger than him. Again, that's fair. The same Ryukin who swapped hands with Prime Juki. Swapped hands is a little fallacious. He had one chance to beat Juki, and he even says, I have to stop him before he enters Hokuto Ryukin Hell. This is a misconception a lot of people have. Juki did not master the Demon Aura. He was about to do it, which is kind of weird because like he's already fucking affecting reality, more or less, but like Fuck. It's like, let me see. Can I? Well, no, because I want to keep this one open for now, but we'll come back to this later. It's contentious. Rao surpassing Hokuto's power makes literally no sense. The dude didn't even master Hokuto Shinken fully. Dude, he had Muso Tensei. What the fuck are you on about? He's literally so skilled, he made his own evolved version of Hokuto Shinken. Not a derivative, an evolution.
Not just that, but he was so skilled, he created a new subset of Hokuto Shinken with the strength of the fist, which literally makes him stronger the longer he fights. On top of that, he also fought a possessed. He also fought the North Star God when it was possessing someone.
So that was Kaio, and we'll talk about that because he tries to argue against that feat. The dude didn't even master Hokuto Shinken fully. Again, Rao is literally comparable to the man who fully mastered Hokuto Shinken. The only technique, as far as we know, that Kenshiro never demonstrates is the Sonrei Tenha. But he mastered the Muso Tensei, which is arguably, it's a harder technique to master. Because even according to Ryukin, as an old man, no one had ever successfully mastered it, and Rao masters it. Rao masters it like fucking nothing. The second he sees it and realizes how to unlock it, he masters it completely. Come on. I think he's downplaying Rao a little bit here. And technically didn't even classify as a successor because you need to win the initiation ritual to be a fully fledged successor. That's not entirely true. Because here's the problem. Kasumi's dad, and I don't think he mentions this, never did the initiation ritual. So is Kasumi's dad not the 61st successor? No, he is, of course. So the whole initiation ritual is that Hokuto Ryukin has a pact with Hokuto Shinken. Whenever Shinken needs a successor, Ryukin will provide it, but Ryukin wants to test the successors to see if they're worthy of Hokuto Shinken. Now, of course, Blue Sky makes it much more mystical, so there is some levity here, but that's the whole point. It's Ryukin wants to test the opposing school, because if you're going to take our students, the only way you're going to be a true successor is if you beat our best. To me, statements linked to Kasumi's initiation ritual are just so much overwhelmingly better than Ken's that they single-handedly make Kasumi stronger unless someone finds a way to prove Ken's initiation ritual was retconned into being the same. No, not in the slightest. He has statements of being the strongest man in Hokuto Shinken. The only thing we can't confirm is whether or not Regenesis is known by Ryukin. But Ryukin would know everything about Kasumi during the events of Blue Sky, and he told Kenshiro the story. And there's no way Rao and Toki didn't learn about it either. And there's also Koryu as well, but we'll talk about this. Kasumi has better skill feats, but we're talking about the strongest here. And if Fisto North Star X Blue Sky guidebook thing is true, then Ken is the better statement since it is word of God itself. Yeah, no, like straight up. If the guidebook says he's stronger, and keep in mind the guidebook was never translated, but if the original people are saying that's what it says, I'm gonna take them at their word. Continuing here. Same goes for initial ritual. It might be that Ken's ritual is retconned to be the same for Kasumi, but from what we know, Kasumi's was on a whole nother level. Yeah, but it was the same ritual. The difference is that Fisto and North Star, they left a bit vague, while Fisto Blue Sky, they went into more detail, which puts Ken at the same level as Kasumi. He'd be stronger, but whatever. Ryukin said that Kasumi was stronger than him, and he was right. Kasumi did stronger than him, but so is Kenshiro. Koryu, a man who's said to be equal, if not stronger than Ryukin. This is true. Right there. Very easy. Said that thanks to Toki Rao and Kenshiro, Hokuto has never been this strong. And again, this is also true as well. With the three brothers, Rao, Toki, and Kenshiro, Hokuto Shinken has never been this strong in its 2,000-year history. Why would God send three extraordinary men at the same time? Each could have become a great successor in their own right. Now, to be fair, no one really cares about Jaggy at that point, because Jaggy kind of just showed up for Kenshiro to kill, but he kind of was ready to show up in. And Rao was easily able to beat him.
Well, from the version of the manga that I have, Ryukin says that 4.
So Ryukin himself says that any of them could have been a successor. I don't know if this is from the actual manga directly, or if this is from the Gaiden. Yeah. But there's a statement that if Jaggy had actually applied himself as much as his brothers, because he actually slacked off a lot, he would have actually been the successor chosen because he actually had the most innate talent. The problem was that he never wanted to work for it, so he kind of like, and that's kind of true to his character if you read the manga. Hello?
Are you talking to me?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, it sounded like you were gonna say something, but I was still talking. Alright, I guess we're moving on.
Shotgun, pew pew.
Huey, who's stronger than Han, who's equal to 100% post Musou Tensei Ken. I mean, while you're kind of right, we're mentioning Kenshiro as being Huey, and the same said that Kenshiro would have beat him if the fight continued. Okay, we have to talk about Hyo versus Kenshiro for a moment. The reason Kenshiro stomps out Hyo and not Han is because when he fought Han, he didn't know about Hokuto Ryuken. When he fought Hyo, he had already seen through Hokuto Ryuken because Kaio had beaten him in a fight. After that fight was done, Hokuto Ryuken was no match for him. And in fact, he even says that himself. Here, let me see if I can pull that one up real quickly. I believe it's, let me see. I think it's the Ryuken Cemetery. I'm sorry, it's because, like, so these chapters, I don't have them labeled for what exactly, like, the statements are said. Okay, hang on, it's not this chapter, it's going to be the next one. There we go. So, let me see. Okay, so here's where fucking Black Yashka fights him. But where's the statement? It's right over here. Okay. Hokuto Ryuken, you were able to locate Hyo's arm in the dimension of Anrei Tenha. Hokuto Ryuken is no longer a match for me. Hyo, I'll show you what I mean in exchange for your life. And this is where Kenshiro just starts stomping him out because, again, after fighting Kaio, he was able to defeat Hokuto Ryuken. And we also get a second statement for that from Black Yashka, if I recall. Right here. Let me see. So, Hyo says they're fine on equal ground. Let me see. I believe Black Yashka already... Did he already say it? Yeah, no. So the main problem here is, was he fully able to understand Ryuken's moves from fighting Kaio? The reason he fucking shitstomps Hyo is because he had already faced Hokuto Ryuken. You're not going to be able to beat Kenshiro with the same fighting style twice. Unless you have some really good fucking fighting style and ability. The reason, again, Han put up a better fight is also because Han might be faster than Hyo, to be fair. That's a little debatable, but because unfortunately statements are not as clear-cut on how the generals are ranked, besides Kaio being the strongest. But ultimately... Oh, no. I'll go back over here. No, bitch. Or was it? I think it's Mercil... Yeah, Tear of the Gods, where it's at. No. So that's why he was able to beat Hyo for the most part, is because he had already seen Hokuto. He already figured out Hokuto Ryuken. It wasn't because he's astronomically stronger than him. It's because he had already figured out his fighting style. Hyo had no chance at that point because he was using a fighting style that Kenshiro already saw through. And funnily enough, the second Hyo switches fighting styles, he actually lands a cut on Kenshiro that Kenshiro claims might have been able to kill him. So, yeah. Okay. It's true Rao did not classify as a successor, but it was not because of his lack of talent, no, it was because of his evil ambitions. If that wasn't the case, he would become a successor, and Koryo said himself Toki, Rao, and Ken could all be successors if they were born in different eras. Rao didn't do the initiation ritual, but he was only 2 Hokuto masters able to master Musou Tensei, something that Kasumi would have no answer for. Also, Rao did master many martial arts, possibly much more than Ken and Kasumi. Yeah. Ken technically lost the initiation ritual since he lost to Kaio the first time, which means that you would need to actually prove that Ken's was the same as Kasumi's. It wasn't left vague at all. It was explicitly stated that he only lived through Shuken's life. Yes, but again, Kasumi only won because the goddess of the North Star cheated in the initiation ritual. So to clarify here for a moment, Kasumi Kenshiro steps up to fight Kaio, or not Kaio, steps up to fight Lu Zhonghui, I think, or I'll just call him Lu, because I think that's what his name is. And during the fight, Lu activates his demon aura, and Kasumi literally tells him, fuck off with that shit, that has no place in our fight, and then proceeds to just yank him into the Sonrei Tenha. You think I'm kidding, but I'm not. Like, I can show you guys, here, let me show you guys a scan, actually. I should be able to show you guys that. Let me scroll over here real quickly. Where is it? I believe it's no, it's a little farther back. Where is it? Here we go. Right here. If it's not this one, it's gonna be the one right before this one. Okay, so here's the god.
You really should bookmark these chapters.
I really should. So there's the goddess of the North Star, over Kasumi Kenshiro. The goddess of the North Star is showing up to help Kasumi Kenshiro in the fight. They just spoke to him, and then the second now, just to be clear, Kenshiro has his own god, like his own spirit over him, but his looks more like Lu's here. So hang on, let's see here. Right here. Here's where the goddess of the North Star steps in on Kenshiro's behalf. Zongwu, barriers the fighting aura have no place in our fight. This fight is fist against fist, the clash of fists devoid of all thought. So just to be clear here, as you can clearly see, Kasumi Kenshiro is not performing this technique. This is being done by the goddess of the North Star, who steps in to even out the fight to make it more skill-based. So that's not really fair to say Kenshiro didn't do that, or he had a different situation. Because again, Kenshiro didn't exactly fucking have the fucking goddess of the North Star backing him up there. To be fair,
isn't it also the fact that the second time Kenshiro came up against the demon aura, he knew how to stop it?
No, yeah, exactly. The second he showed up to Hio, he fucking stomped him out. Then actually. This guy's kind of lying here. Because that's not the successor.
I'm talking about when he fights Kaio again.
Yeah, no, he does. He completely stomps it. Actually, that's actually wrong. That's not the success. I'm actually wrong here. This guy's technically lying. Because the initiation ritual is not actually the fight itself. That's actually wrong. Hang on, let me actually go here. It's, I think it's right here. Okay, so there's some context you guys don't really care about. Right here. It seems that the initiation ritual is not over for me yet. And then it says, is this the real initiation ritual? And it refers specifically to learning the memories of the North Star family. Here, let me scroll forward a little bit more. Right here. Tower of Souls Repose. Spire. I heard his legend could be a Tower of Souls Repose. Yes. I said that all the sorrows of the sons of Hulkdor are penned in that tower. Now the real initiation ritual begins. Yeah, he's fucking wrong. The real initiation ritual is learning the memories of the North Star family and coming to terms with it. Which Kenshiro successfully does. Oh, damn. You can't, and Kenshiro even states that he knows about the actual past of Hokuto Shinken. He even states that, if I recall correctly. Yeah, no, bam, wow, that is
Couldn't you also make the argument that because Kenshiro knows all the stories about Kasumi, and because it's a first-hand retelling from Ryukin, when he said that he's the strongest person in Hokuto, that should just be a blanket statement.
No, it absolutely fucking is. The problem is that for some reason these guys, and it's mainly Toyless here, who again I have no issues with for the most part. Again, they posted my video. That's the only reason I'm reacting to this. For some reason he just doesn't like scaling the characters to each other. He thinks it's like Dragon Ball Z. He thinks that he thinks Kenshiro and Kasumi Kenshiro are astronomically stronger than everyone else in the series, including Rao, who has a direct statement of being stronger than Kenshiro by Kenshiro himself.
This is the problem with when people try and power scale Fist of the North Star. It's just they think it's linear progression, but it's not. It's skill based.
There is some linear progression, to be fair, but when you get to the top tiers, that linear progression is next to nothing, really. It's usually skill-based by that point. Keyword said to be, and regardless, the Ryukin Koryu fought was clearly not Prime Ryukin, since he only became a successor after the altercation with Koryu, which means that there is no direct comparison between the two of them. No, that's bullshit. That is ignoring complete author intent. The point of Koryu is that there is a person on par with Ryukin. That was the point of Koryu. You're ignoring authorial intent there so damn hard. Saying that the Ryukin Koryu fought was as strongest would be like saying that Ken, right before losing the Shin, was as strongest because he had just become successor. That's fallacious as hell. You have to prove Ryukin got astronomically stronger after the initiation. He literally was fighting him for the position of successor. The reason Kenshiro got stronger is because Shin taught him obsession. He was hardened from battle. That's not the same thing that Ryukin, as far as we know, went through. Completely unfair comparison.
And also, Shin kind of ambushed Kenshiro and, like...
took his wife.
It really was not a fair fight.
There was a lot...
No, actually... The only reason Kenshiro doesn't fight back, and I remember this because I read it recently, it's because Shin's men take Yuria hostage.
Well, to be fair, he does fight, but, yeah, there was a lot going on there. But even then, Kenshiro even tells
Shin
fucking... Go ahead.
Shin was basically, kind of like his, best friend. He wasn't expecting him to come out of nowhere and try and steal his woman.
That is fair. Dude, their friendship is the weirdest thing in Fist of the North Star. Fuck all this god shit. Shin and Kenshiro's friendship is the weird part, because you can never understand how those two were friends. So, regarding, again, just to continue, Kenshiro even tells Shin, the reason I was able to beat you is because of the obsession you taught me. And, no, you know what? Why the fuck am I being around the bush here? Chapter 198. Let me show you guys the actual chapter. Why am I even like giving you guys word of mouth? I can just find it real quickly. Shin dies in the first 10 chapters. Right. I think it's right here. Yeah, so here's Shin versus, or actually, we gotta scroll up a little bit. So here's what Kyle's talking about. Here's where Shin and Kenshiro fight each other. Shin beats him. The only person to beat Kenshiro, technically fairly. So again, ambition. He gets the 7 scars on the 7 stars on his chest. And now I have Kenshiro. Kenshiro, I'll send you to hell again. You can't counter my attacks. What? You're really not the same Kenshiro. Why? Obsession. What changed me was the obsession you taught me. The reason Kenshiro's stronger is because he was forged in battle. Ryukin doesn't have that statement because he only fought one Hokuto Ryukin member as far as we know. So again, not a fair comparison point.
Also, just to add this, it has nothing to do with the video, but the only reason Shin lost was because he lost all motivation.
Yeah, Shin gets dealt dirty. If you read the expanded lore, Shin scales to a fully motivated Juza, who scaled to a Rao that survived a fight with Toki. I'm not going to say he beat Toki because he didn't beat him.
To put that in retrospect, you could technically argue that a motivated Shin would, stomp out the rest of the Nanto fighters aside from, maybe Salva.
So, the problem here is, so this is where things get weird. If you look at the expanded lore, they all scale to Juza, except for Yuta. They all can fight Juza. The series just wrote them as fucking, throwaways because they're all crippled or they all got, fucked over because of some fate bullshit, but that's a completely different discussion. So same goes for your statement. There's no evidence that he knew of Kasumi. If you're going to assume Koryu doesn't know about Kasumi, I think that's being a little heavy-handed. Koryu is almost as old as Ryukin, and he was trained alongside Ryukin. Do you really think Ryukin would never talk about his big brother, the man he was proud of, the man he looked up to? Do you really think he would never talk about him? I think that's being a little... I mean, to be fair, that's an argument, but that's a very strange argument that you can't really prove outside of we never hear him mention him. Kasumi Kenshiro wasn't even a character till 10 years after the North Star ended. So I don't think it's fair to use that as an argument, but whatever. He's specifically referring to Toki, Rao, and Kenshiro together. Never in the history of Hokuto Shinken has there been more than one successor-worthy member at a time. Just to understand how fucking wrong he is, Koryu could have become the successor to Hokuto Shinken. He relinquished it because he didn't want him and Ryukin to kill each other. So he's already fucking wrong. Hio surpassing Juki doesn't really matter. It absolutely does. The scaling still puts Kasumi as stronger than post Muso Tensei 100% Kenshiro at bare minimum. No, it doesn't.
What?
Nah, the fucking Kyle. What? The Juki Ryukin fought was also most likely much stronger than the one who stalemated bloodlusted Hio, while very clearly trying to kill him. Okay, so Juki didn't actually access hell the same way Hio and Kaio did. That's stated. In fact, it's literally stated by fucking Ryukin, the only chance I have to beat him is right now before he fully enters the dark world, or something like that. I don't know what chapter that's in, and I don't really, I wouldn't be able to help you guys out there. Actually, hang on. Let me see. Let me see if just by reading the titles I can maybe figure out which one it is. Let me see.
Little video, he says. It'll be fun and quick, he says.
I'm sorry, I don't know where this shit to be fair, it's not really my fault. I think it's right here. I think it's the same.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
it's
please.
not my fault. As he searches for the individual chapter, as he should have either bookmarked it or had the panel saved.
You're not wrong, but whatever. Hang on. Because Juki should mention it. Because he tells him why he's doing it. It's like because of the heavy karma the fist has. Here we go. I too long ago was filled with hate towards Hokuto Shinken and defied it. At that time, I found myself at the gates of Hokuto Ryukin Hell, where he goes to fight, Ryukin. Wow, I'm actually memorizing these chapters a lot faster. Look, he's able to perform the Ombre Tenha, to be fair, but it's kind of weird. Is this the devilish key of a Hokuto Ryukin master, Ajuki? It seems as if one who enters hell to deliver the appearance, could Juki have already fallen into it? His key is frightening. If I want to defeat him now, it's now or never before he truly masters the power of hell. So to be fair, I was a little wrong. He had already entered it according to Ryukin, but he hasn't mastered the powers yet. This is his only chance to do it. By the time Kaio and Hio show up, they've already mastered it. Kaio in particular is probably the greatest master of the Demon Aura by far. Alright, I'm going to stop looking through specific chapters. I think I've proven I know enough about Fista and North Star to where you guys can take me at my word. If not, just ask for fucking something, because he's right. We're already 32 minutes into this. After getting a huge amp by awakening his blood, again, the reason Kenshiro beat Hio is because he learned Hokuto Ryukin. I already showed that to you guys. He's wrong here. Doesn't really matter. You couldn't possibly surpass the power of a martial art without even mastering it yet. Dude, Rao is a master of Hokuto Shinken. He made his own version. So did Toki. They are masters. Why are you downplaying them so hard?
This is the funny thing about when you talk about the successes, just like everyone. I think Kenshiro develops like at least some original techniques, but like everyone but Jaggy basically made their own subset of Hokuto Shinken.
Kenshiro's like, I'm just going to take all you guys' flying styles and throw it in the mine. Is that cool? Kenshiro's just benefiting the rewards of his wife killing everybody.
Sees Nanto Seiken once. Okay. I cut too.
I hate that. That's basically Kenshiro. Sees a fine style once. This is my fine style. Our fighting style.
What? Just jagging you off like, what'd you take from me?
Okay, especially when Ken himself becomes unquantifiably stronger than Rao before fully obtaining the full power of Hokuto. Okay. Let's talk about this. So, I'm going to show you the statement. Where is it? Right here. It's, Shadow Supreme King? Yes, here it is. I think it's this chapter. I want to become greater than God in order to crush that divine obsession. If I was greater than God, my sister would be here. With your little weak, you can't even reclaim Leo. Yeah, so this is where Kenshiro finds out he's using Rao's fist. I'm the only one who can surpass God. No man has ever been able to replace God. Yes, one man did. Can no replace God. Obviously, it's a little fallacious. So, Baron, if you really plan on replacing God, then you have to defeat me first. And then he's like, I only need one arm to rip you apart. Kenshiro breaks his arm. And then he says, your fist is nothing compared to Rao's. What? You know Rao? He was a powerful man who gave up his might for the sake of love. He wished to rule the world and failed. And so here he uses Kenshiro's technique. Or no, he uses Rao's technique. And Rao uses the actual, or Kenshiro uses the technique back. Even though his fist surpassed mine, Rao could never surpass God. So Kenshiro is... This is end of series Kenshiro, post learning the history of Hokuto Shinken, post defeating Kaio, Rao's fist surpassed mine. Even after all these years, Kenshiro is still saying Rao's stronger than him. And here's where he said, he confronted my fist and he decided to let himself be defeated. Even if you don't believe... Dude, like, no, like, I'm sorry. Like, the series goes out of its way to tell you this. It's weird, but it's only weird if you scale it the way you scale Dragon Ball fucking Z.
Well, also as well, in the fight, Kenshiro straight up admits that, like, Rao could have killed me.
No, like, yeah, like, straight up, like, fucking...
I was really asking why didn't he?
No, he doesn't do that. So what happens...
Or is that from the movie?
That part was from the movie. But again, every version of the story has Rao being stronger than Kenshiro. Every single version. Even the anime has Rao losing because he was weakened. Okay, right here. And I'm quantifiably stronger than Rao even after before attaining the full potential of Hokuto. Rao mastering many martial arts doesn't matter when we already know that Toki scales above him in skill and Ken scales relative to Toki. Now hang on just a minute. That's a little... That's only for diseased Toki. Let's clarify that one.
And to be fair, that is the only way they could have been equal.
The Red Beret Colonel is stated to have mastered every martial art? What? Yujiro? I'm gonna have to come back to that later. Does that mean he's more skilled than Rao? Dude, don't even act like you're... Okay. Also, Kasumi's statement about obtaining the fullest form of Hokuto Shinken automatically means he's mastered Musou Tensei. No! Fuck off! Ryukin confirms only no one has fully mastered it. You are deliberately ignoring direct statements from Ryukin who would know about this! Moving on. I know Ryukin stated that no master before him had done it, but he's just wrong.
What?
What? He also said nobody achieved it at all. We know for a fact Kasumi did, invalidating his statement as a whole. No, he said no one had fully. You know, fuck it. Fuck it. I think I know what chapter that is. Hang on. I want to be as fair as possible here. Bro, don't tell me that it's not actually just called Musou Tensei. Come on. Here we go. The secret technique of status. This should be it. Nope, never mind. Apparently this is the Juza fight. Son of a bitch. Spirit that surpasses the physical. Nothing can hide a fist. Sacrifice to the devil. Destroy the fighting key. Okay, so this is the final fight. I think it's Memory of the Past. Nope. This is where the girl dies. The time has come. There's a pun there. There's a pun.
Goodness gracious, dude. For as long as you're taking, I might need to go to work before you find it.
Shut up, okay? It's not my fault. He's like, I mean, he's been wrong before, but it's like, I kind of like want to get the benefit of the doubt here. Okay, here's where Musou Tensei first appears. Hey, I found it relatively quickly. Fuck off. Could it be that what Ryukin was talking about this last breath, the ultimate succession technique? But I guess we're just gonna ignore that.
Did you hear that, Father Time? He found it.
They say there exists... Fuck you, I didn't know this was going to be all this shit. Okay. They say there exists an ultimate technique in Hokuto Shinken Musou Tensei. What is the nature of this attack? I myself was never able to learn it. In the course of 2,000 years of Hokuto Shinken, no one has ever mastered that technique. What is strongest in the world? Nothingness. It's nothingness from life streams forth. That is Musou Tensei. Whatever your strength, you cannot acquire the succession technique because you still don't understand sadness with your unlimited ambition. Only a man filled with sadness can achieve it. So, yeah. Okay, so he doesn't say no one has achieved it. He's saying that you need to have sadness to achieve it and that no one has mastered it. Which, to be fair, is still valid until Kasumi Kenshiro inevitably masters it in Regenesis. To be fair. Unless they just don't give a mastery of it. I know Ryu can stay... so he's completely fucking wrong. To give you an idea of how little that Koryo stuff matters, because before he became a successor, Ryu can consider Jaggi and Ken equals. He even had Jaggi as a bit stronger than him. Because Jaggi fucked up and stopped training. Hokuto users make huge progress in very little time. It's very unlikely that Koryu became stronger than he was in his prime. Why not? The man hasn't lost any muscle mass. Even Toki over there with fucking radiation disease. Look how thin you are, Toki! You know what the funniest part is? Toki in his actual diseased form actually looks a little more muscular than his non-diseased form in the game, which is super funny.
Leukemia does wonders for the body.
It's also possible that Rao never sensed Prime Ryuken's chi, which means that he'd be comparing Koryu's chi to a weakened Ryuken. You have to prove Ryuken got weaker with old age, to be fair. He did have a heart attack, but he did still beat Rao with like one attack, so keep that in mind. This was obviously retcon. Both of the Nizumis are stated to be mystical objects that hold the knowledge of Hokuto Soki and Hokuto Shinra from the millennia past, and they both serve the same purpose. Koryu explicitly that each one could be a successor in their own right. Now, no, you are excluding the fact that Borusa and Hara said that Ken is the strongest man in Hokuto history, period. It was from the official Fist of the North Star / Blue Sky guidebook that already gives more credible to Kenshiro. Also, Kyle is much stronger and deadlier than Liu Zongwu. Yep, he's right. Still, this is full power Kenshiro we're talking about after all. False equivalency, Colonel did not master Hokuto while Rao did it, so he's much stronger than him. And I only use the fact that Rao mastered more martial arts than Ken and Kasumi, not to say that he was more skilled than them, but just show that he was more versatile fighter. Did he learn more than Kenshiro? Probably not. Kenshiro looks at you move and he's already learned a new fighting style, so probably not more than Kenshiro, but that's because he survived longer. This is obvious headcanon. Kasumi never used Musou Tensei in any of his fights. He never even mentions anything about it. The only time he used Musou Tensei, he was not even conscious, and when he woke up, he didn't even fully remember it. He only seemed to have a vague recollection of it, unless you count with the Regenesis anime. His Musou Tensei not even looks similar to the real Musou Tensei. It would be an incomplete version. And Kasumi's statement about attaining the fullest form of Hokuto Shinken does not automatically mean he has Musou Tensei and is possibly a hyperbole, since only those who understand and embrace the true nature of sorrow and loss can awaken Musou Tensei. And I don't think Kasumi qualifies for Musou Tensei. That's kind of bullshit. Kasumi lost a lot of friends and a lot of close people to him. I'm surprised he didn't get it himself in some capacity, like that he could actually call upon. I think the anime is probably on the money that he's going to get it at some point. But he probably... To be fair, you could argue Rao didn't master it either, since Kenshiro's Musou Tensei has his friends in it, and Rao's has... no one. He hasn't experienced nearly as much deep sadness as Ken. Yeah, but he's experienced some. In fact, I go so far as to say as he's had a fairly tragedy-free life. Acquaintances and rivals die sure, but his close friends and wife are all alive and well. He probably knows Musou Tensei, but that doesn't mean he masters it. Also now, you seem to disregard Rao's statement, but at the same time you take any statement about Kasumi at face value. Oh yeah, sorry. Okay, we're just going to skip forward a little bit. We shouldn't have to go through any more scans. I think we've already covered most of the points until we get to the one I want to talk about at first. This was obviously retcon, is not an argument. Prove it. Okay, dude, fuck out of here. You literally just said that, where is it? I know you can say you literally just did something similar right above. I know you did. Where you're just like, fucking, no. But whatever. I know I went through it, so no, not the same thing. And still it says all of the three put together made Hokuto strong and Starabin. Also proved Koryu knew of Kasumi and how strong he was. Dude, like, that's really weird. You really think Ryuken never talked about his brother at all? I mean, I guess we can't prove that, but we have author statements saying Kenshiro is stronger. So what the fuck are you arguing for? Using a second-hand account from a forum of a guide nobody knows anything about is not valid, especially when the translation is high and intelligible. Get a copy of the book, have it translated, and then maybe we can have a talk about it. That's fucked. But to be fair, he's not entirely wrong calling that card out. Kaio is deadlier than Liu based on what? Exactly. And you really want to go about the word of God from the guides? The Sakamatsu High Red Snake guide has Prime Ryuken on the same level as Kaio and end of series Ken. The manga itself is greater than the guides and word of God regardless. So let's talk about this here for a moment. That's not entirely accurate. I know what this guide is because I've seen it before. Ryukin is considered a AAA fighter in his prime, but that's because he's a successor of Hokuto Shinken. See, he's ignoring context here. Everyone in the AA section are not successor level opponents, except for maybe Souther. He's leaving out context here. The reason Ryukin is here in the third slot is because Ryukin was a successor of Hokuto Shinken. And becoming a successor of Hokuto Shinken gives you access to the infinite possibilities and infinite variability of Hokuto Shinken. So yes, becoming the successor to Hokuto Shinken is going to make you a AAA ranked fighter because every other ranked fighter is like Han and Souther and shit. For God's sakes, Falco's a AA, come on! Also, to be fair, he's also being a little wrong here. As you can see right here, this stat right here actually references power. Power, Ryukin's not as strong as Rao or Kaio, and neither is Kenshiro, but again, I already showed you Kenshiro's not stronger than Rao. Ryukin having skills on par with these guys? Yeah, he's a Hokuto Shinken successor. He should have skills on par with them. His speed? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. He has higher rated speed. Like, I mean, Rao and Kaio can keep up with him, but it's really just... The numbers themselves are kind of a little... They are there, they do matter, but he's already kind of wrong. Because he's saying that he scales to end of same level as Kaio and S-Series Ken, and he doesn't. That's already kind of wrong. And again, this only matters if you scale Fist of the North Star like Dragon Ball fucking Z. If you scale it the way the series presents itself, and the way the guidebook shows us, and the way the author statements tell us... Mainly the guidebook, but to be fair, they're all relative to each other. They're just more skilled. It literally states Souther beats Han. Like, they give Souther the win over Han. And by this guy's logic, Han should one-shot Souther. Just saying, let's add the full context here, my guy, if you're going to start using scans. False equivalency, Chrono Master, which is irrelevant. I don't understand why bringing up mastering a bunch of fodder martial arts while him talking about him surpassing the power of Hokuto. We have a direct statement he surpasses the power of Hokuto Shinken. Like, you're literally arguing against the mobile game, which is overseen by the author, and you use to say that fucking he uses the mobile game for scans! He uses it to use Lightspeed Fist of the North Star! I'm just saying, might be a little cherry picky. Just saying. The only headcanon I see here is yours. Tell me, how could Kasumi have obtained the fullest of Hokuto without having mastered Musou Tensei? Because we have a statement from another guy who knew his brother that he never mastered Musou Tensei. Also, the fullest of Hokuto? To be fair, Musou Tensei is the ultimate succession technique of Hokuto Shinken, but it's not really Hokuto. It's more based on the sadness the person experiences. Now, to be fair, there's an issue here. Because to do the succession ritual means you have to embody the sadness of every single successor. So it's more weird that Musou Tensei is so rare. Because if every successor had to gain the sorrow of the first guy, who had a very tragic life based on fucking Kenshiro and Kasumi Kenshiro's statements and are showing, why don't they all have Musou Tensei? It's weird. I think the only way you can explain this inconsistency is you have to experience the sorrow in your own life. It can't be their sorrow. It has to be your own sorrow. Otherwise, it just doesn't make sense, to be fair. Him not using it is not an argument. He has yet to fight anyone who pushes him to go all out, let alone use Musou Tensei. By the same logic, can you show me Ken using Sonrei Tenha? No, must mean Ken never mastered that move. You probably don't give Ken Sonrei Tenha based on the way you argue. And Kasumi saying I'll full does not automatically mean as Musou Tensei. None of this matters. It's your word against an omniscient being in the series. You not thinking that Kasumi is the prerequisites of obtain Musou Tensei doesn't matter. It's not that we think he doesn't have the prerequisites. You have to kind of, like, we already have the prerequisites set up in the original series, and Ryukin would know if his brother mastered Musou Tensei. Come on. Like, again, you think his brother's going to keep that secret from him? No, get out of here. It's not a matter of taking it at face value. No, you are taking it at face value completely, to be fair, and you're, like, literally just... You're taking the blue sky statements at face value, and then you're arguing that all the North Star ones are wrong. So it's a very simple, straightforward statement with next to no context to it. So unless you want to prove the Taoist is wrong, no amount of I think or maybe it's higher will change anything. He already showed the Taoist isn't omniscient. He already proved that the Taoist can't see the future of people, or at least some people. So I mean, he already proved he's not omniscient. I don't disregard Rao's statements. Yes, you do. I actually look at the context and recognize the fact that they ran before Kasumi was a thing. And we know for a fact that Boris and they were planned ahead, so it's not like you could say there was already a... Okay, here's the problem, though. Blue Sky doesn't retroactively retcon the statements in North Star. Blue Sky's existence just upgrades the North Star characters. The revive statement is blatantly unusable since it's secondary source of game, contradicting the main source of the manga. I already proved why it doesn't. I don't want to see him using the mobile game. Because it doesn't contradict it, and he has no evidence for it. Again, Kenshiro himself states Rao's fist surpassed his. Okay, so this is where we're talking about. This is where we're talking about what needs to be calculated. Let's go here. Well, I know this is not what I was committed to, but I found this Wikipedia page, and there's a segment about Nuizen, and this is said. They also, let me see, what does it say? Kenshiro, Piece of Secret Hole, Lyric Treasure Force, deciphers the inscription, instantly experiences the life of the founder Shuken. The inscription includes the successor of Hokuto Shinken, including Shinken. No, he literally... Blue Sky adds context to what Kenshiro learned in the tower. When Kenshiro learns the secrets of Hokuto Shinken and he gets the seals released, he's learning about the past successors. That's what Blue Sky shows us. This is so weird. Because the guy arguing against him is arguing for the idea that the prequel has completely different lore that doesn't lead into its sequel series. Which is super fucking weird. They also said the Fist North Sky Blue Sky got because of the source while reading the SNK. It gave the impression it was supposed to be the same ritual that Kenshiro did. But even if we consider that both did a different ritual, I don't see how this would put Kasumi above Ken anyway. Also, if we assume that they did a different ritual, we would have to get rid of summoning for Kenshiro, since Kasumi only used that technique thanks to his ritual. We have never have seen Kenshiro do it. We also would need to get rid of resistance to Hokuto-based pressure points attacks to Kasumi, since Ken only gained that thanks to the ritual. That's wrong. During the Amiibo fight, Rei states that Hokuto Shinken successors have resistances to like the pressure points, and we also see this with Rao and Toki's fight as well, technically. And we never have seen Kasumi having something similar or even talk about that. That is fair. Granted, he never fought another Hokuto master after the ritual, but still, if you believe that they did different rituals, there's no reason to believe they gained the same abilities. I personally believe that was the same. It's just that Fist of North Star only mentioned Shuken. Also, both rituals gave a power boost to Ken and Kasumi. Koryu never said that. While Koryu was trained under by Tenshin, Kasumi's father, alongside Ryuki and Kasumi's brother, I think it's very unlikely he never heard nothing about the legendary fighter as Kasumi. Yeah, no, like that'd be incredibly strange. Yeah, you're right. I don't think it's usable for the wiki, but I don't think that the guy was lying, though. He even gave the pages that was stated. I would, but it's very hard to find available to sell in my country, and the few ones I found are super expensive. While he did not had Onrei Tenha, his Motoki was not even as strong as Juki's if we go by feats. Lu was not a Majin, and Lu got defeated by Kasumi before Kasumi even did the initiation ritual, meaning that Kasumi beat him without the need of a power boost. No, so just to clarify, Lu never uses the Demon Aura. In fact, I already showed you the scan. The second he starts trying to use something similar to it, Kasumi's like... The fucking God of North Star's like, fuck that. Kasumi, I got your back, bro. It doesn't really say Ryuki is as powerful as Kaio, since Kaio listed as 5 in power, Ryuki is a 4, but this is quite different from a statement in HNK SNK, since these ones take things like strength, looks, charisma, etc. into account. In HNK SNK Guide, it seems to be a full-blown stand by Word of God. The manga itself guides in Word of God regardless. Yeah, if the manga contradicts the Word of God, then yeah, we have to give priority to the manga, but there's nothing in the manga that contradicts the guide. In HNK, they gave more credit to this notion. What is this? Dude, is no one... Are they not going to use the statement where Kenshiro says Rao's fist was superior to his? No, we're just not going to use that statement? Is that statement not exist? Did no one else read after the Kaio arc? Well, a fight between two equal Hokuto masters, every technique should come in hand. About Kasumi obtaining the fullest of Hokuto, well, when the Taoist said that, let's see what he says. The heavens offer you Hokuto in its fullest form. Wait. So that statement comes from when he learns the memories? Yeah, no, this guy's argument is better. He was talking about the initiation ritual, and yeah, the initiation ritual grants knowledge about Hokuto Soki and Hokuto Shinken at its fullest, and also grants knowledge of all the previous users, so he likely learned the previous master's techniques, but none of them have ever mastered Musa Tensei, and even then Musa Tensei cannot be mastered just by view. You can say that Kasumi had the fullest form of Hokuto at the time, but there's nothing that confirms Master Musa Tensei. You also seem to agree that Kasumi... What? Okay, I'm not gonna look through this. We got to speed up a little bit here. We're even here for like an hour. That Kasumi did not master mistake, and also Legend Revive. The only one that have Muso Tensei models are Ken and Rao, not Kasumi. Well, if Kasumi used Muso Tensei at least once, we would have 100% proof they messed with Muso Tensei, but since they never did that, we do not have it. The comparison doesn't make sense. Samurai Ten has a technique that can be taught to other successors. Muso Tensei can't be taught. Fair point. There's much more of a chance of Kenshiro learning Samurai Tenno than Kasumi learning Muso Tensei. Not to mention, we know that Kenshiro learned the Tenno Kasuri technique invented by Kasumi. That's true. That's the technique he used to kill Souther. So I don't see why Ken would not have learned the Samurai Tenha. Again, like, even in the panel where the Samurai Tenha is used, Kasumi doesn't activate it. The Goddess of the North Star kind of does it, to be fair. So I think we're being... is no one going to mention that? I mean, don't get me wrong. Kasumi can use it. It's a North Star technique, and so can Kenshiro. But to be fair, he doesn't activate it himself. The Goddess of the North Star does. It's a little weird. Unless you want to argue that, like, that's just his, like, demon war god aura, but Kenshiro's looks different, so there's that. This is the context when Tawa said that. What? Oh, same thing. He was talking about the Nishi Ratio against Hokutosuke. You seem to agree that the revive statement about Rao a while ago. Also, why the revive contradicts the manga? Yeah, no. So he's using Legends Revive statement from the exact same description to support his argument. So that's fair. Also, what are the look? I think we have more important things to do here in this thread. Can't say to be a strong span. Hokuto line by Rao, but cross we have Word of God. Rao, after Tamu's Tensei state to surpass Hokuto powers itself. Hokuto Legend Revive supervised at Hara itself. Hara says very faithful to the manga. There should be a link to the website. I've already read this. He's right. Kenshiro surpassed Kaio, and Kaio was able to fight Sachi, possessed by the goddess of Hokuto, to a standstill. To a standstill? What fight were you reading? And so this is where I got mentioned. And even though you don't agree with me on this, I'm not the only one who interpreted it. So this is one guy and this is me. So it's not like I'm the only one making this up. So let's talk about this fight for a minute. So this is where it occurs. Kaio is right here, beating the shit out of Sachi, as you do. So this is where he makes fun of the goddess of Hokuto because he thinks women are inferior. Sachi gets up and fights. Fucking Kaio beats the shit out of him. Because Kyle from Australia decided to enter a Fist of the North Star and decided to be a total dick. And woman's statue is shedding tears and she's crying. We see that immediately afterwards he gets amped as a result. He's even moved like, what's this?
I'm sorry, why do you have a manuscript of my afternoons?
How could he? It must be that woman's statue. Now we're gonna get some more context here. Sorry, I just want to show the context for what's going on. Don't be too hasty, Sachi. It says that the woman's statue is moving Sachi's mangled body. The female spirit of original Hokuto seems to be wandering this holy place. Affirming like Sachi's still in the matrimony, and then Sachi immediately proceeds to be shit. Not only the imagine attack, but he countered one of his own. And then Sachi just immediately, again, he's being controlled and amped by the spirit of Hokuto here. Sachi's strength isn't coming from his own body. This can't be. At just his pressure points, he should already be dead. Sachi wishes to protect you. The statue answered by giving him the strength to do it. If Kyle's being driven back by that power, it's because he fears he's afraid of power love. That's what the statue is trying to show us. Love. Could this be a love of Secret Fist? And here's where Kaio directly calls out the god of, the North Star, hating Hokuto Ryukin. And then Kaio proceeds to, in that case, I'll just crush Sachi's body. Keep in mind, this is being controlled by the goddess of the North Star. And Kaio beats him. See, the person I was fighting before won Sachi, it was the spirit of original Hokuto. So again, he just beat the spirit of original Hokuto. That was amping Sachi, just to clarify. So we have statements for that. Pure context. There's only two statements to say Kasumi is the strongest in Hokuto, and you said that those statements retcon the fact that Kenshiro is the strongest, but it's not. The first statement is Ryukin saying Kasumi is the most powerful man in Hokuto, because again, that's when he's a baby. I guarantee you that's the baby scan. Yep, baby scan. You said, I know Ryu can say that no master for master, but he's just wrong. He also said, but I only thought I'm saying no one a master Muso Tensei. Again, he's right. We already confirmed this. The second thing is Tao said Kasumi is the strongest man in Hokuto. This child is treated so much of an omniscient entity. So, this, I believe, is from Regenesis. I believe this is Regenesis. Yeah, because and the stars of Hokuto shine once more. That's Regenesis. So here's the problem: is the Taoist scales below the gods of the North Star, and Kyle beat the person who was amping that, or the person amped by it. So there's that, but whatever. That said, I understand your opinion. I think it's a valid one. I mean, Hokuto Sotoken has always been vague as hell with a lot of contradictions, and you gave solid points for Kasumi being the strongest one too. Keiichiro stated that not even God can predict the outcome of their battle. Yeah, no. There are several the Taoist saying that he can't read people's destiny already proves he's not omniscient. The destiny of the universe is sealed. A man can change his own fate if he knows a few tricks. Yeah, no, like straight up, like no, he's not omniscient. He's certainly well knowledgeable, but he's not omniscient. We don't have access to fully transit materials. Maybe by the end of Genesis, Kasumi will surpass Kenshiro. Maybe Kasumi will use Muso Tensei, but for now, we should scale both of them as equals. That way, we'll make sure we're not doing a disservice for the characters. Well, no, because, like, again, Kenshiro will be stronger. Because even if you want to argue that, like, Kasumi was stronger by himself, by the time Kenshiro gets the seals unlocked, he should be stronger, and he still says Ralph Fist surpassed his, so. People change their mind? Okay, that's a weird rebuttal. Doesn't matter, statement would be factually incorrect if Kasumi had a master Muso Tensei. You can't have the fullest form of martial art without mastering its most important technique. No, that's not entirely true. That would just mean you wouldn't have a complete knowledge. It wouldn't mean you wouldn't have the full essence of it. Does that mean that, like, someone who boxes their entire life, if they can't do one specific jab, they don't have the full extent of boxing? They don't have, like, the fullest knowledge of boxing? Then again, maybe it's just me. So I'll give this one, like, a pass here. Larry, no part of my comment implied that I agree with a specific segment of the description. I don't have an issue with the description as a whole, just that passage. Yeah, no, that's cherry picking. Also, word around Steven Crunch's manga on the fact that Kenshiro, while still very clearly not unlocking the full power of Hokuto, whooped Rao's ass. Okay, Rao beat the shit out of him in that fight. Like, you guys know that, right? Like, trust me on this one. I've shown my evidence. If you guys need me to, we can go through it. But Kenshiro does not beat the shit out of Rao like it's an easy fight. Rao has him on the corner a lot. In fact, the reason... You know, fuck it. We're already an hour into this. I might as well.
Okay, so for as much as people, like... We joke about the chariot stars, but, like... Rao just got through, like, rolling over the chariot stars while fighting Kenshiro at the same time, I believe.
Here, let me... I think it's
or is that the movie where he fights them both at the same time, but in the manga, Kenshiro gets there as soon as he wins?
So, like, Rao, like, cleared them out over the course of, like, a few weeks, or, like, not a few weeks, but, like, a few days. But technically, this fight only happens, like, a day after the Yuri gets kidnapped, I think. Okay, so hang on. Let's see here. So, here's Rao and Kenshiro using Muso Tensei on themselves, a really iconic panel. Since we have both the Muso Tensei, Hokuto Shiken techniques are no longer weapons we can use. This is nothingness returning to square one, and this fight has like two newborns going at it. And then they fight each other, and then Rao says, since I'm the one touching fist, it looks like this born's a new day older. So he literally fucking knocks him to the ground during their fight when they have nothing left. So in their most purest form, Rao's a better fighter than Kenshiro. And then they just go at it. Again, like, so this is my problem with this guy a little bit, who whooped Rao's ass. Like, and again, we have a statement saying Rao let Kenshiro win. These two are literally evenly matched at best. If not, Rao's a little bit better. And keep in mind, we already have a statement from Kenshiro from the end of the manga that Rao let him win. So, yeah, no, completely wrong here. But even then, they still scale to each other. In the face of the perfection of Ken's Muso Tensei, Rao is helpless. So Rao kind of gets intimidated here, but again, like, we do get context that he let him win. So, whooped Rao's ass. I mean, I guess if you just call barely winning whooping Rao's ass and being given the win, whooping someone's ass, I guess. The statement clearly says Rao is greater than Hokuto, which is demonstrably false and just makes no sense. It makes perfect sense. Rao literally was going to challenge God. And Kenshiro's only rebuttal to Rao not beating God is that Rao wasn't a good enough person to beat God. He doesn't say God's stronger. He says that with the way Rao lived, he couldn't beat God because he didn't know true sorrow and love. Or, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but you get the point. Kasumi was in Boris' imagination when Rao said that. Doesn't matter. The sequel series would still just upgrade the statements. Already explained why it's unusable? No, you haven't. And why do you... Has no one read Kenshiro's fight with fucking... I don't even know his name. Kyle, help me. What's the guy's name?
Be more specific.
The guy... Oh, okay, hang on. So this is where it gets a little fallacious. Here's Yasaki tanking an actual strike from the actual gods of Hokuto and not through some proxy. So let's talk about the context here for a moment. He's not tanking an attack from the goddess of Hokuto. Let's be clear here for a moment. Let's go back a little bit. We have to go back. And again, you just saw Kaio beat Sachi, which was amped. This is what happens here. So right here, this man moves in, and Kasumi Kenshiro uses the technique. The goddess of Hokuto grabs him and slams him into the wall. But I want to point out that Kenshiro doesn't want to fight. Like, here's the context going forward. This was not like a fully serious attack Kenshiro used. Yeah, here. This is the closest thing gods to us. Is the same ship as our using god. Yeah. Your god and my god are the same. I discovered this during the initial I found the different divinities that would pass down to you and I are in reality one and the same. The god usually does not desire my death. And so we end up getting... Oh, right here. If Kenshiro were to fight him right now, Yasaki wouldn't stand a chance. But Kenshiro has found a different way to finish their battle. Kenshiro doesn't want to kill Yasaki. That's the only reason the attack didn't do serious damage. Because Yasaki is nothing to Kenshiro at this point. Unironically, after Yasaki finds out that, like, he's wrong... Again, like, so this right here is Kenshiro trying to teach him that, the revenge is not real. One of those looking here out the voice. I don't have hope to blow my veins. Yeah, no, he's trying to show him a different way. And so this is what I kind of want to get at here a little bit, because if you think this guy scales at all, let me see. I think it's 100 Flower Blossom chapter. Hopefully this is the last scan I'll have to show. I request you will take me. Oh, Sarah,
how much more of this spread is there?
There's not too much more where I'm going to talk about. To be fair, I just want to talk about this portion since this is the one I got involved in. I'm sorry. Okay, so right here. Is it right here? Okay, right here. So this is after he sees it. Strike of Rage. Kasumi Kenshiro. Come on, you could kill me instantly with your current power. But I don't intend to die without a fight. Hokuto Shinken may be powerful martial art, but so is Getsu Seto Goken. The martial art on battlefield is not meant for one-on-one duels. Go on, take your best shot. I'll be sure to leave you with a bruise or two. And Kenshiro casually fodderizes him. That attack was... Do you really think you could atone for your sins with your death? Again, like, he doesn't want to kill him. Because Feiyan promised not... Yeah, right there. Feiyan promised to not kill him. No, yeah, so straight up, no. Like, that's not a fair comparison point. There's two completely different scenarios going on here. I don't really care about how many people think that. It's a baseless assumption. It's not a baseless assumption. We literally get statements that the power comes from the original Hokuto god, or from the original spirit of Hokuto. Here's Taki taking an actual strike from the actual goddess, and again, tanking the strike is only because Kenshiro doesn't want to hurt him, doesn't want to kill him. So for all we know, that attack could kill him. Well, it for sure retcons every statement from Rao, because as I already said, Ryukin who gave that statement is the same who's a direct scaling chain that puts him above Muso Tensei Rao. It doesn't put him above Muso Tensei Rao, though. It's based on skill, and he's being fallacious. He's ignoring the people below. No, this is being completely fallacious. Because keep in mind that Toki's also a AAA fighter who has similar stats to them, despite the fact that even with Fist of Strength, Toki couldn't match Rao's strength directly because, again, he weakened too quickly. Like, no, completely absurd. The tell is pretty clear talking after Kasumi is already dead. The phrase "the time is kind of tell legend of the blue sky" means that said legend has already ended. Galen Nurse presents or flashlight could argue that set during or after the events of H and K. No, it would. So again, we don't know where that comes from. To be fair, but I think you're being that's being a little unfair there. Let's not really talk about this. That's right. Okay, so equal. So they're just keeping them as equals, and they're just gonna keep shitting on Rao. All right. All right. Yep. That's the end of the thread. Again, he's leaving out some context here for Yasaki taking an actual strike from the goddess. that's just there to calm him down. That's just there to push him back and be like, hey, chill the fuck out for a moment. In fact, you'll notice that pushes him away from the actual statue. So you could just argue Kenshiro used that technique specifically to just make room for him to get to the statue. Right here, let me see. It's just, well, I can just go back real quickly. I just don't understand why he's shading on Rouse so much. Like, fuck, the series literally has a statement that Rouse's fist is greater than Kenshiro's. Like, how much more blatant do you need Kenshiro to be? Fuck.
And for, like, other evidence, you can basically say, like, other people should, like, be above end of series Kenshiro, like, healthy Toki, motivated Shin.
A lot of characters. Yeah, he's literally just using this attack to give him some space. This is more to calm him down a little bit and like keep him in his place than actually like fight him. So you can just argue the context for these two attacks is completely different. But yeah, no. Again, so one last time for those of you who just still here, let me just go ahead one last time and show you guys the statement again where Kenshiro states that not only did Rao let him win, but that Rao's fist was greater than his. Even though his fist surpassed mine, which again would most likely mean Kenshiro as he is right now. To be fair, maybe the ultimate version of the manga might change the wording a little bit, but the wording is almost pretty the intent and most of the statements are practically one-to-one with most translations you'll find. Decided let himself be defeated. Yeah, no. Alright. So this person just hasn't read Fist of the North Star in a while. That's the only way I can see it. Alright, so you have any other statements, Kyle? Oh, yeah, leave. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for your time as always. Have a nice day. If the thread maker, if the guys who made the thread again, I may have come off a little strong, but I don't have like any beef with any of them. Even that Tweetless guy seems to be a big fan of Fist of the North Star. I do think definitely that maybe like it's a little weird, but for the most part, I'm just getting my thoughts on it, providing the evidence for it, and well, yeah. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for your time as always. Have a nice day. Thank you guys for your time as always. Have a nice day. And I'll see you guys on the next stream or video. Take care, everybody.